Can you hear it, folks? That noise can only mean one thing. We are back on my favourite river in your wide world, my favourite place in your wide world, the River Dane at Massey's Farm. Last time we looked at all things bollow, long rod, you know, inching that bait through. This time it's inching the bait through again, but on the pole. So flat float fishing. For me, I absolutely adore this style of fishing, folks. On again, sort of like big deep rivers, big deep powerful rivers, when you want to just creep that bait in nice and slow, but it can all be done within sort of pole range, you know what I mean? Obviously it's a little bit faster on this river, but I want to show you the difference again. If you can get that bait presented right on the bottom, sneaking that bait through, oh, you'll have some right success. Rivers like this though, you know what I mean, it seems a bit wrong using a pole on rivers like this, but I want to show you how successful it can be. It's so good, folks. So first things first, we're not actually fishing far out today. I'm looking to go, obviously we'll go through it in a sec when we get fishing, but just over the flow. So we've got a main flow which is sort of under our feet, if you'd like, where you can use a proper traditional stick float, and then just past that we've got the crease of the flow, from where it goes slack to where we've got the flow. The best way to target these sort of like these rigs, these flat floats, is just on that crease, just not in the fast, not in the slow, just on sort of like the half pace river, if you like, and that's where it's perfect. So we've only got like 9 meters and then we're into it. First things first, elastic wise, even though we're going to be catching plenty of like little babby fish, chub, dace, possibly odd roach, hopefully we're going to be into some big fish. Now big fish in here can be anything from like barbel, big chub, brownies, grayling, perch, anything like that. So that's why I've gone for slightly heavier elastic. The reason for that is you've got to consider when you're striking through that float, which in this instance today is 4 gram, there's quite a lot of weight there, so I don't want to be using a light elastic that's not going to set the hook. So using a heavier elastic sets that hook, no trouble at all, but it'll cushion the bigger fish should we hook him as well. So a 13-inch Dura hybrid is what we've got on. Main line next, and I probably won't ever go any lighter than, oh I'm snagged up, than a 0.18 main line on, certainly on rivers, but on any style of sort of flat float fishing, because it does take quite a bit of hammer, folks, and your rig's got to be up for it. So 0.18 main line is a minimum. Now you'll notice I've got quite a long, what have we got there, there's probably 4 foot between my pole tip and my actual float. That is because I might want to change depth, you know, I might need to sort of like trot further downstream to where the fish are. It's all about experimenting in the first place, finding out where the fish are, and then sort of putting your rig in just upstream where the fish are, and then laying your rig into them. It's so good when you find them, folks. So float wise for this then, we have got a 4 gram Crusoe bubble float on. Really simple. Look a bit odd when you're putting them on if you're not used to it at first. Basically there's no eyes on these floats. We've got a series of 4 rubbers. So we've got our first rubber here which connects the actual float to the line, and then we've got 3 rubbers down here just as you would on a normal pole rig, just making that line nice and straight through the float. Wire stems, I don't even know if they're coming anything different, these floats, but certainly wire stem, simply because you're not looking to catch a fish on the drop whatsoever. Literally rig in, float straight over the top, and then you're just looking to inch that float through the peg. Dead simple. We've not got very much depth here. We've probably got about 5 foot where I'm fishing. It does shallow up really quick, and it's a proper natural fish holding feature, that, folks. Yeah, where you got flat bottom, then it starts to come up because it starts going a lot shallower. That's naturally where the fish are going to be, so we're going to catch some fishes on this. And then shotting wise, again, really simple. We've got a 3 gram Olivet, and then it's locked either side by Stott. Again, Stotts certainly overshots, as we touched on in the previous video on the bollow, simply because of the resistance and harshness on the line of non-toxic shot. I might want to be playing around with this. I might want, you know, all this on the bottom potentially. If we get more flow on, or I really want to hold back hard, I could put all that on the bottom. As it is though, we've got them Stotts there, we've got a series of double bulk number 8s there and there, and we've got, I'm probably plumbed up so this hook length is all on the bottom. And what I want to do is just creep that float through. You'll see when I let all resistance go, my float's going to tipple over. When I hold back and it's perfect, my float's going to tip out this way, and I can just let that float go through. And the bites are usually slow. Odd quick ones we'll probably get from the dace and the chub, but usually they're nice and slow. There's no mistaking the bites, and I've said it now, folks, you don't normally miss bites. Blooming said it, CEO Richard. I don't have said it. We're going to miss loads of bites now, aren't we? So hook length wise, 8 inches of 0.14, and we've got a size 14 GPMV hook on. No room for finesse in this, folks. I don't think there is for any style of sort of river fishing. Maybe slower rivers, more, you know, sort of powerful, deeper rivers where you have to smaller fish, but certainly on proper wild rivers like this that are fast flowing, the fish just see your bait and attack it and grab it. So yeah, so that's that rig. Really simple again, nothing complicated what we're doing. I think we need to go and snare some fishes, don't we? Right then, you lovely lot. So just before we get going on the flat float, I've taught you through where I was setting that float to. Yeah, I've plumbed up, but I want to show you what kind of plummets that we use for plumbing up on like faster waters. It's different than the norm. Normal plummets are like your 15 or 20 grams that you'd use on your commercials. You need to make sure you're using heavier plummets on rivers. So this is a 40 gram one. Reel get down there nice and quick, feel what the bottom is as well. So as I said, I want to be anything from sort of half a float to a full float over depth on this, so that like my hook length is pretty much all on the bottom going through. So let me show you. So I've got my marker, which is that white sign in the distance, bit of pole behind me, and then feel that bottom there, so it's rock hard. So you see there where we plumbed up to, we're sort of like, yeah, 3/4 of the float out, which is what I want. Now obviously it doesn't benefit me to coming back that way. It's going to get deeper. I'm not fishing obviously upstream, I'm fishing down here. So you'll see with a nice heavy plummet you can really gauge what that bottom's doing. So you can see it's coming shallower there, which is perfect. These river fish, as I've mentioned before, love being just before a run off. So for me that's perfect. That's where we're going to get the rig in there and then just inch that float through. Let's go and catch some fishes. Here we go then. I cannot wait for this style of fishing, folks. I love flat float fishing, especially on sort of like rivers like this. You just don't know what you're going to catch next. You really don't. What's Richard found? Rod rest, especially rod rest. We'll have that later for the beebles. So things to consider then first. Feeding. Now you all know how much I love to feed. When I'm feeding sort of like every trot down, that's going to be for the stick float, which we'll do in a separate video. For this style of fishing, we need to feed, put a bed of bait down, and then again just fish it through, fish over the top. Almost like, you know, ground bait fishing. Putting the ground bait in, bowling it in, fishing over the top, top up when bites start to fade. It's exactly the same with this. It's just like blooming raining. So what I'm going to do first is get some emp. So we've got some emp, we've got some bronze maggots, and we've got some casters. Proper natural river baits. Can't go anywhere without bronze magpies on the river. Now I've got my marker. It's actually a white sign on the building in front of us. I'm just going to go slightly upstream, but just out of the main flow. You'll see where I'm fishing the set floats. I'm going to put 2 big pouchfuls of hemp in. Hemp as a bait does sink pretty quick. And then my casters, they're just going a little bit further upstream. Yeah, if it was big, deeper, slower flowing waters, such as like the Trent or the Severn, what I do is I feed my hemp slightly downstream and my maggots on my casters almost slightly opposite me, that kind of thing, because hemp sinks a little bit faster. What I'm going to do now is put double bronze maggot on and then just literally just inch it through. I want to show you the difference with inching it through and then letting it go through at full pace. So dead simple rig as we've just been through. Yeah, quite positive. You know, we're fishing, don't forget we're fishing sort of like at least 6 inches over depth on this, and you soon get to find out if there's any snags in your peg. So on with double bronze magpie. I'm probably going to get a bite there on my stick float line and then ship out. Now what I've got, very important when you're fishing this, is to have a little bit of a section of pole behind you. Although I don't think I'm going to get too far down the swim before getting a bite, it's so you can let that pole out and almost sort of ship down on the same line, if you like, rather than having that float come back towards you. So first thing when I do, I'm going to put that rig right on my marker, got a little bit of pole behind me. So what I'm doing, I'm inching back, I'm just holding that float. If I let all resistance go, you see what I mean, how fast that float goes through. But by, oh, we had a bite then. That didn't take long, did it, folks? Little baby fish, wet my hands. Probably a day, so, oh, it's a roach, blooming heck. I've not caught roach in here for years. Ugh, look at that, that's what you get on normal rivers, folks, on normal slower flowing rivers. Go on, the roach. That's almost a roach. I was expecting that to be a dace. Go on, the roaches. Just shows you, doesn't it? Presentation, different presentation. Because normally I'm on here just fishing a blooming stick float. But you've seen how quick we got a bite, yeah? Don't need to feed again. But check out when you're getting the bites. If I don't get a bite this run down, then yeah, of course I'm going to feed again. But I'll keep fishing and not feeding, because we're feeding heavy when you do feed. I'll keep that bait. I'll keep putting my rig through until I stop getting bites. As soon as I stop getting a bite, that's when I'll feed again. So again, nice and quick, bit of section of pole behind me, drop your rig in on your mark, and then you can see straight away, holding back and just creeping that float through. Now you see where I'm fishing this? Just on the edge or on the crease of that main flow. That was a bite then, I think. See how it's gone slow? The bites on this will be slow. You get the odd fast bite, but usually they're just nice and slow because we're fishing over depth. Now it's all about finding where your bait's hitting the bottom. So as soon as I find that, there'll be an area where you get bites at the quickest. As soon as I found that out, then what I'll do is I'll drop my float a little bit further downstream, just so I'm into them fish a little bit quicker. Now we caught that roach by letting all resistance go. We'll just try that again. See how all resistance go, then hold back. And you just creep that float through. It's such an effect. There was a little bite then. Such an effective way of fishing, really is. So I'm just going to put us a little, what's that, what are we on now? Go on the little babby chublets. Little babby chublets. But you can see every single fish disgorged because we're fishing over depth, and that's what you want. Obviously these wild fish, if you hook, I've said it now, Anna, if you hook something you want to get it out. But I'm not going to feed again. What I'm going to do is just go a little bit further downstream with my marker, because that's where we had that bite, and you can almost get into the fish really quick. Yeah, so it's nice and quick. A little bit of pole behind me, so I'm just going to go about sort of a foot further downstream than my marker. Hold that there. And just creep that through. I can actually sit. There we go. Oh, what did I just say? I said the blooming bump one, didn't I? But you saw how much quicker we had that bite because I've gone to where the fish are feeding and where that bait's hitting the bottom. Again, I'm not going to feed again. Straight in with double bronze magpie, hooked through the tip. And we'll get into them nice and quick again. Can't stress how effective this style of fishing is, folks, yeah? So drop it, foot further downstream, there, hold back, oh, we're straight into, oh, we had a bite straight away then. So that probably took it as it was settling. But you can see we've found where the fish are now, yeah? We found where the fish are through that feed, that's where the bait's settling, and we're just getting bites a hell of a lot quicker. That was a little dink then. Just let that bite develop, inch it through, come on. It's nice to catch like a barbel or something, a little babby barbel. That's just holding up now, so where we are there, I can start to see the bottom of the riverbed. It does shallow up considerably there. I think the maggots are like proper at it, but we'll have another go because they're generally not too bothered on here. It's probably that fast bite that we had. Oh, there we go, there's another one now. I'm going to change them maggots, folks. Them getting little tiny dinks there. It's probably just little tiny fish, but certainly check your bait. You could tell them had been snotted. I'm going to put a bit of bait in as well. So again, pouch full of them, pouch full of caster, slightly upstream. One there. One there. Surprising that I had one there. And then obviously that bait's settling about a foot down from my marker, so around about there. Should get a bite very, very quick. So once you've found them, it's just a case of plundering them, just getting straight on them. Such an effective, underused method though, folks. Oh, there we go. Proper, innit? Proper. What's this one? Wet my hands. Chublet! You just catch fish like that all day. Got to catch another one, folks. Got to catch another one. Just going to go slightly in that faster water just to see what happens, and that's the beauty of it. It's all about experimenting. I'm still going to drop it a little bit downstream, but I'm not going to go as far out on my pole. To about there. Just so I'm in that flow. See what happens there. There we go. So it's just going through that a little bit faster. You see how much quicker I had that bite then? It's all about experimenting on the day. Usually you catch best between the two flows, the fast and the slow. but some days they'll have it in that fast water. See, it's coming up, it's ever so shallow there. There's a fish on that. Oh, there was. Let's just go back again. There was a lot of little fish on this line, but we don't mind, we're getting bites, aren't we? So good. See the effectiveness of that flat float. You couldn't use, that was a little dink then, you couldn't use a traditional float really on a fast-paced river like this. Oh, it's a grayling. Go on, a grayling. Different species for you folks. Come on, a grayling. Hey, go on, the graylings. And that's the beauty of the river. You just don't know what you're going to catch next. You literally don't. He's nailed it and all. And as with all these fish, folks, I'll just let me unhook him. Come here. He's nailed it, he has. Yeah, with all these fish, make sure you give him time to recover. Just let me show you him. Beautiful, the wiriest fish in the world. So I'm going to hold it over my landing net. Can you get in on that, Richard? He's on it, the CEO's on it, but the wiriest fish in the world, grayling. But that's the beauty of fishing these rivers. You just don't know what you're going to catch next. But the single most important thing is this, what I'm doing now. Make sure them fish are kicking and ready to go. Yep, he's ready to go, and release it. So that, folks, is pretty much flat float fishing in a wanna. Nothing complicated with it. It's the most simple way of fishing when you get it right. But check your feeding. Yeah, you've seen how I'm not getting giddy with the feed. This is what I do overly often. It's putting a bed of feed in and then fishing over it, putting a bed of feed in. When you stop getting bites, put some more feed in and then just fish it out. Yeah, there'll be some times when you need to put a ball in, or feeding every single go in, but that's all about working it out on the day. But get on it, folks, give flat float fishing a try and you will not be disappointed. Yeah!